My name is Isabella Rossi. I'm 36 years old, an interior designer in Florence, and I always thought my life was stable and safe. I was married to Tommaso Bianchi, a charming man I had been with for 12 years. He was the perfect husband, attentive, courteous, the kind of man who made espresso for me every morning before work. He claimed to work in import-export, often traveling to ports like Livorno and Genoa. I never fully understood what he did, but it paid well enough for us to live in a villa in Fiesole, overlooking the city and the rolling Tuscan hills. I thought I knew him. Until that one night, it started innocently. Tommaso was away in Naples for business. I decided to clean out the cellar. While moving boxes, I accidentally knocked against a wall. The sound was hollow. Curious, I pushed harder, and to my shock, the wall slid open. Behind it was a narrow room, lit by a single, flickering fluorescent tube. And on a metal table lay things that froze my blood. A leather briefcase stuffed with bundles of euro notes, a black pistol, gleaming beside a box of ammunition, a thick folder filled with photographs of men in shadowy alleys, at luxury restaurants, outside marble villas. On the cover, in red letters, was a single word, Il Consiglio, the council. My throat tightened. This couldn't possibly belong to Tommaso. My Tommaso read Dante's poetry before bed. My Tommaso loved cooking, long walks along the Arno, and yet, here lay undeniable proof of another life. I wanted to leave the room, but then I noticed a photograph of the two of us, smiling on Capri. On the back, in his handwriting, it read, "Lei non deve mai sapere." They're not loved of you, Ard. She must never know. That night, I didn't sleep. Each time I closed my eyes, I saw those words. My heart told me, run. But my mind whispered, find the truth first. So I waited for Tommaso to return. When he came home 2 days later, he was the same smiling man. He kissed my forehead, set his suitcase down, and asked if I wanted spaghetti alle vongole. I looked at him, and my stomach twisted. Behind his eyes lurked someone else. I stayed silent, but from that moment, I watched. He sometimes slipped out at night, whispering into his phone in rapid Italian. He always closed his laptop the moment I entered the room. He took more business trips than ever, often to Naples, Palermo, Milan. A week later, I decided to follow him. He said he had a meeting in the city. I kept my car at a distance. He didn't drive to an office, but to an abandoned warehouse near the port of Livorno. I crept closer, my heart hammering. Through a crack in the rusted door, I saw him. My Tommaso, or rather, this Tommaso, stood before a group of men. His voice was cold, commanding. La prossima consegna avverrà. Nessuno si fermerà. The next delivery will go through. No one will stop us. On the floor stood crates. One was opened, revealing carefully packed weapons glinting under the light. The men nodded, hardened, scarred, dangerous, and Tommaso stood among them as though he had always belonged there. I wanted to run, but then my foot cracked against a sheet of metal. The sound echoed through the warehouse. Heads turned. Eyes met mine through the narrow gap. I bolted. Breathless, trembling, I sprinted to my car. Behind me, I heard shouting, voices that chilled my blood. When I finally got home, I pretended to sleep when he slipped into bed hours later. But I knew now, with terrifying certainty, my husband was leading a second life, one deep in the shadows of Italy's underworld. The next morning, a note lay on the kitchen table. In his handwriting, Dobbiamo parlare, stasera, nella cantina. We need to talk. Tonight, in the cellar. My hands shook. He knew I had seen something. Suddenly, I heard the front door open, far too early. He was already home.